going to be this single wrap infinity scarf. With this particular yarn, the yellow one, I used 3 strands because I believe it was just a chunky number 4 yarn, I want to say. I'll put the link to this yarn in the description box below. So, in the scarf that I make today, while I'm showing you guys, I'm actually going to use this yarn here, which is the Bernat roving yarn, and it's in the color Low Tide. It is a bulky number 5 yarn, and it comes with approximately 120 yards, or 109 meters, 100 grams, or 3.5 ounces. I'm going to use 2 balls at one time because I'm going to use 2 strands at a time. You could probably get away with just using 1 ball of yarn, but I will let you know at the end of the video if you need 1 or 2. So anyway, let's get right into the tutorial. If you're using two balls of yarn, you're going to want to pull a strand from the center of both balls. And so now I have 2 strands of yarn that I'm going to use at the same time. So you're going to want to do the long tail cast on to cast on your stitches. And to do that, you want to pull out a long tail from the balls of yarn. I'm going to say about 3 feet. So once you have your long tail, you're going to want to make a slip knot. That's your next step. So to make a slip knot, you're going to hang the yarn over your hand just like this, pinch it together, put your thumb in, twist it, and grab that working yarn that's attached to the ball of yarn, and then just pull on it. Go ahead and slide that onto your arm, tighten it up just a little bit, and now we're going to start casting on. So to begin casting on your stitches, what you want to do is take this working end of the yarn, put it over your pointer finger and in between your pointer and ring finger. And then you want to grab it with your pinky and your ring finger. And then with the tail end of the yarn, you're going to wrap it around your thumb and grab it with those same 2 fingers, your pinky and your ring finger. Okay? And so it should look something like this. And then to begin casting on, what you're going to do is take your right hand, put it under that strand there, and then you're going to go under this one and through that hole there. And then to tighten it up, just pull on the tail. Okay, you can do that again. Wrap it around your fingers the way I showed you. Take your right hand, you're going to go under this one, over this one, over this one, and then back under it and through the hole. So you're going to go under this one, over the one in the back, and then under it, through there. Might seem kind of complicated at first, but you'll get the hang of it. Once you get the hang of it, it's very, very simple. I'm going to do that again. And so far, we have 4 stitches, so we're going to do 6 more. We're going to go under this one, and then over this one, over the one in the back, and then under it, and through there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 10 stitches. Now we're going to start with the actual arm knitting part. So you can move the tail of yarn out of the way, you're not going to be using that. So then to begin knitting, you're going to take the working yarn and hold it in your right hand. This first stitch, you're going to pull it off of your hand and then while still holding on to that working yarn, pull that loop over just like that. And now you have this new loop here. Turn it towards yourself and put it onto your left arm. Now this first stitch is always the hardest one to tighten. If you pull on this, it's just not really going to do anything. Like, it might seem like it's tightening up, but it's really just pulling on that tail. So what you want to do is kind of snug on that, or not snug on it, pull on that while you push this up, just like that. And just do it as tight as you can while still being able to move that around on your arm a little bit. So again, you're going to hold that working yarn in your right hand, take that next stitch, pull it over and off of your hand, and you have this new loop here. You're going to turn that so it's facing you and then put it onto your left arm. Tighten that up. And again, hold on to the working yarn in your right hand. Take the next stitch, pull it over and off, and put your hand through. And again, next stitch. Try to keep the stitches as tight as you can. The tighter the stitch, the smaller it will be, and the better your scarf will look. If you make the stitches really loose, then you're going to have really big holes in your scarf. It's not going to look as great. It's going to look kind of straggly. So try to keep them as tight as you can. And I'm going to go ahead and finish up this first row here. Okay, so now we want to move on to knitting our second row. To do that, this time you're going to hold the yarn in your left hand, just like you did with your right hand. Take that first stitch, pull it over, just like you did before, and now you have the new loop. Turn that towards yourself and put it on your arm, your right arm. Tighten that up, again, by pulling on the working yarn and pushing that knot up. Just like that. Now again, hold the working yarn in your left hand, pull that next stitch over, and then put it on your right arm. And again. See how easy this is? It's just the same thing back and forth, moving it from your right arm to your left arm and back to your right arm until you have your desired length of scarf. Alright, so that was row number 2. I'll show you one more row. This will be the third row. You're going to hold the yarn, the working yarn, in your right hand this time, just like the first row. Pull it over and put this onto your left arm. Tighten that up. And again. So this is what 3 rows looks like. I'm going to go ahead and keep going, and then when I come back I'll let you know how many rows I arm knitted. So I've done 7 rows so far, and this is what it looks like. And I just wanted to let you know that every now and then just kind of tug on it a little bit, stretch out the stitches, because they will start to get a little bunched up. So I'm going to keep going, and when I come back I'll tell you how many rows I've done. Alright guys, so I did a total of 12 stitches all together, and now what I want to do is show you how to bind off, which means to end your scarf. So to end your scarf, or to bind off, you're going to hold the working yarn in your right hand. You're going to pull that stitch over, just like you were doing before when you were knitting, and you're going to put it on your left arm, just like you were doing when you were knitting. Tighten it up. You're going to do that again with your next stitch. Move it over to your left arm. Don't tighten it too much. Now what you're going to do is you're going to drop that working yarn. You're going to pull this first stitch over this one and off of your hand. So now you're left with one stitch. You're just going to tighten that up just a little bit. Now when you're binding off, you don't want to pull on this working yarn too much. You don't want to tighten it too much because then you're going to have a really small end to your scarf. So let's do your next stitch. Pull that stitch over, put it on your left, pull this first stitch over the second one and off of your hand, and then tighten it just a little bit. And again. And as you can see, it's ending your scarf. Now once you come to your last stitch, you're going to do the same thing, pull it over, move it to your left hand, pull this one over, just like that. And then you're going to take this working yarn, hold it with your left hand and pull this last stitch over just like that. Tighten that up. So now you're going to have this loop here and your working yarn. You can go ahead and cut your working yarn. Just measure, I want to say about a foot. Cut it. And then you're going to take it and pull it through that loop one more time. That way it creates a knot. And then just tighten that as much as you can. And that's the end of your scarf. So this is what we have. So now I'm going to show you how to connect the ends. Okay, so to sew the ends of your scarf to make it look like an infinity scarf, just like this one, that's the seam there. So what you need is just your fingers, or you can use a crochet hook just like this one, and a pair of scissors. And what you want to do is turn your scarf inside out and fold it in half. So you're going to see the inside of the scarf. So match up the ends. Let's see, I'm going to use this one, and then what I'm going to do is find my first stitch here. Okay, so I'm going to go through or under these two stitches here. And through your stitch over here. Make sure you get as close to the end as you can. Okay, pull that kind of tight. And we're going to do that again. Find your next stitch, match it up with the bottom, and stick it through. And again, next stitch. So you're just kind of wrapping it around and making a seam. I have one more stitch that I can do. Once you put it through the last stitch here, just pull it about halfway through. So now you have this loop, and you're going to take that tail that you were using and pull it through. Just like that. Okay, and now you have both tails on the same end. So now you want to weave in the ends, which is your very last step. So for this part, I like to use a crochet hook because what you can do is find the edge, kind of weave it through your seam. Try to weave it through the thickest part, that way it won't be that noticeable. And then grab all 4 strands there and just pull it through. Okay, and then you can cut it. Kind of pull on that a little bit and then turn it right side out. And there's your seam. And there's your scarf.